Hi guys, how you doing today? Mr.G here. Give me a thumbs up. We're going to be talking about this drone today, this one here. This is the Holy Stone HS210. I'll show you the box right here. This is it right here. This is the Holy Stone 210. This is the red one, as you can see in the picture there. Real nice drone. Probably about the best drone you're going to buy for the money. So we're going to fly that today. I'm here in my kitchen. I've only got an area about 3 foot by 3 foot to fly this in. But that's going to be good enough to show you how it's going to fly. Now, I got to hook up the battery. Oh, hang tight here. Let me get the battery hooked up. Now, when you plug in the battery into the port on the bottom of the drone, you slide the battery into the little holder under the bottom. The drone automatically comes on and starts blinking. Now, when it's blinking, you're going to turn on the transmitter. This is the transmitter. Right here's the transmitter. Let me show this to you. This is the transmitter right here. You got to turn this on. Now, when I turn this on, you hear that beep beep. That means that it pairs. It's pairing with the drone. Let's see if it's going to work. Okay, you gotta take the throttle button, the one on the left here, you gotta push it up and down. And that pairs it together and it stops blinking. Simple enough, it's just, I got so many drones, I forget how each one works. Now, and they move back here a little bit. Or we got a little bit more room. Let me move the camera around just for a second here, so you can see more of the drone flying and less of me. We're going to bring the camera around like that right there. Yeah, like that right there. I'll put the drone down on the floor. Put the drone down on the floor right there, like that. Now this drone has an automatic takeoff button. This is the left button underneath the throttle here. There's only these two buttons on the face of this, and you got two buttons up here. If you push this, and see the drone started up. And then let's see here. Get it to work right. There we go. There it is. Let me move it down a little bit here. It's a pretty stable drone. Now this one here is new out of the box. And I haven't adjusted any of the buttons on it to where it'll stay exactly in one spot. But this does have an altitude hold. It does have headless mode on it. And I just kicked on headless mode, but here in the kitchen I probably really don't need it. Now it'll go up and down. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but you can see it going up and down. It's a pretty good drone for what it costs. Okay. Now if I had this adjusted to before I turn the camera on, and then it probably sit in one spot. Another thing too, of the force of the air from the blades on it, and it's such a small area, that wind will blow it around a little bit. And that's kind of what's happening here a little bit. But even children could fly this in your house. You see how it stands pretty much at one altitude. That's because it's got altitude holes. It's got headless mode. The knobs on the controller, they're pretty accurate. No, it's not a big expensive controller, naturally. But it's pretty accurate for what it is. You can see me flying it right here almost in one spot, pretty much. But I didn't adjust it like I said. If I'd have done it before I turned the camera on, I could have adjusted all the beads on the buttons, and the drone would probably pretty much stay in one spot. So for right out of the box and charging the battery, it's doing pretty good. Now this drone, I turned off headless mode. When you got headless mode on it, you notice that red light was flashing. So I turned it off. Now on this drone here, when the lights flash, that means the battery is low. And it'll land itself if you don't land it, which is really a real good feature. Just don't be over any water, when that happens, because it'll land wherever it's at. It's going to land. It's a feature to have. Now you see the light blinking? Now that means that the battery is just about dead, so I got to land it. Okay, and then shut it off. Now the way you shut it off is, you noticed I landed it, and then I pushed the throttle up and down. That shut it off. It does have a stop button right here. The same button that starts it up and automatically takes off, same button. Now I could have pushed that and it would have shut right off immediately. But I wanted to do that to show everyone how this thing flies. And another thing too, I wanted to show you what really actually makes it such a good drone. I can't show you fully how it works in here, right here in my kitchen, because I don't have a whole lot of room. Even though this is a small drone, but this drone, if you get it in a decent area like your backyard or something like that, this drone, you can do a few tricks with it. You can do hover spins around and around. It does have flip buttons on it where you can make it flip forward, backwards, or either sideways, either side. Now if you notice on this drone, I'm going to bring it up closer to the camera so you can see it here. But on this drone here, if you notice, this drone has propeller guards around the propellers. And this is one thing why, if you crash this drone, these guards save on the propellers. Now, not this drone, but others that I've got exactly the same drone. I've crashed them into my shed outside. I've hit the tree with them. And I've never yet broke one of these guards. Not saying that they can't be broken. I'm sure they can. But I think the speed that this drone can fly at, if you hit something head on, and I've done it full blast, it did not break one of these guards. And to me, I think that's a real big feature. And it's a pretty drone, very light. You can see the size it is in my hand here. You can see the size of it, in my hand. It's about what you call about a 3-inch drone. And for anyone that's just looking to have some good fun in your house or out there in your yard, this is the drone to buy. It's not a lot of money if you did crash it or if you landed it in water, because it's not waterproof. You're only going to lose a matter of I think $35, something like that. That's not a big loss when it comes to flying drones. And you'll have a lot of fun with this. It does come with extra propellers. It comes with these red ones and the black ones. Now the reason why they put those different colored propellers on there is it helps you recognize the front of the drone and the back of the drone. Even though this drone does have what you call headless mode on it, that I said a while ago. What headless mode means, when you push the button on the transmitter and put it into headless mode, that's when the rear red light was flashing, if you notice that. What that does in headless mode, it doesn't matter if you turn the drone in any direction. When you push the forward or rear control knob on the transmitter, the drone is gonna, if you push it backwards, say toward you, the drone is gonna come back to you. No matter if it's sideways, forward, backwards, it doesn't matter. That's what headless mode does. No matter what the drone is in, if it's in sideways, when you push rear or you push forward, depending on where you're sitting and where the drone is actually at, the drone is going to go away from you or it's going to come back to you. Headless mode is a real good feature. A lot of drones have that. A lot of pilots that have a small amount of experience, they love headless mode. I know I started off with headless mode when the drones first came out with headless mode on them. And the altitude hold, if you noticed when I was flying, the altitude hold on this drone, the drone pretty much set at a certain height from the floor. Now, it wasn't perfect. The drone did, after a few seconds, the drone would go down a little bit or wiggle up a little bit. But pretty much the drone held its own height. And that's altitude mode. That is a real good feature. When you fly a drone that does not have altitude hold on it, then you constantly have to move your thumb on the throttle, because the throttle is what makes the drone go up or down. The more throttle you give it, the higher the drone's going to go. The lesser the throttle, it comes down. So without altitude hold on a drone, you have to work that throttle up and down to keep the drone, say, in one certain height. You have to work that throttle. And that's why a lot of beginners, you want the altitude hold feature and you want the headless mode feature. Now this drone right here, I don't know if you noticed or not, but this drone right here will only fly about, I think, about 5 minutes on one battery charge. And then you land it and you can switch the battery. This drone came with 3 batteries, so that's